We're calling this work session July 17th to order, and this time we're going to ask our Honorable Mayor Pro-Tem Fowler if he'll lead us in a word of prayer.
Thank you, Mayor. Let's bow our heads. Our Father, we come to you humble this morning, thanking you for all the blessings you brought our way. Father, we ask that you help us understand the blessings and participate in all the wonders that you have provided for us. Father, we ask you to continue to protect our soldiers overseas and also at home. Father, we ask you to protect each and every one of us on this pandemic we have going on at this time. We all are in uncertain territory and uncertain waters, but Father, we know through you all things are possible. We ask you to continue to bless this council with their decisions. In the town of Surf City, we ask this in your most precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. At this time, we'll ask
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
may be seated. Thank everybody for being here, and thank everybody for doing a lot of work. But we have got a lot of stuff on our agenda today. So the COVID has slowed a lot of things down, but it hasn't slowed our town down. It's things keep going on, and they're doing a lot of work. So at this time we'll turn it over to Kyle, or who's going to present our update.
Sure. Good morning, Mr. Mayor and Council. First item, we'll have our project manager, Matt Britton, provide you an update for the municipal complex project. Matt's been providing some verbal updates every work session, but sometimes it gets difficult to hear and we can't really interact. So Matt's joined us today to give us his update. So Matt, I'll turn it over to you.
Good morning, everybody. Like Kyle said, Matt Britton, project manager, Monteith Construction. Just real quick, excited for the opportunity, happy to be here. My phone number, as I am hesitant to say this, is posted at our job site fence, so just throw that out there right now. Any questions, comments, concerns, myself, my superintendent Chris Thompson will be available literally 24/7, so we're here to serve you guys as the owner and everything else. Hopefully everyone's happy. Brief construction update. So we did mobilize on the 22nd. We are moving forward. I don't know, where everyone is familiarity with the project, but we're bringing in about 11,000 yards of fill. Okay, so we're going to be raising the site almost 4 feet. Right now, we're about 75% of the way there as far as bringing the fill in. We're anticipating being done next Friday with that activity. I've kept Kyle in the loop there, but from an owner standpoint, that's one of the bigger financial risks, time risks, is with this wet season that we've had. We can get past that and move forward with the rest of the project, kind of control our own destiny, if you will. After that, we have our trailer that's going to be mobilizing on the 24th. Quick thank you to the fire department. We've been working out of their conference room right now, and they've been incredibly hospitable. So we'll have the trailer mobilizing next Friday, and then the following Monday, I believe that's the 27th, we will be beginning our footing activities as well as our utility activities. So start mobilizing anchor bolts, rebar, working on excavating footings, pouring footings, as well as concurrently kind of figuring out or fully excavating the pond that's in the back of the job site and starting with the stormwater utilities. So it's a good bit of reinforced concrete pipe, 24-inch, not too deep, but you will start to see a good bit of that. And then this next week they'll start, bringing the material to the job site. As far as that goes, the next milestone that we'll have is going to be on 8/28 is when we will be placing the slab on grade concrete. So within that month right there, we'll be prepping the footings, underground rough-in of our plumbing and electrical, as well as finishing basically the site utilities, the sanitary sewer, electrical, and water. So like I said, 8/28 is kind of our next milestone. Once you get the slab on grade placed, that allows us to start framing, go vertical, roofing, trusses, as well as kind of drive the building in and move forward. As far as the very large picture, 4/29 is our completion date is what we're tracking. End of April, we don't see any reason as to why we can't achieve that date. building permit was approved earlier this week, so appreciate everyone that was involved with that. And then just a quick COVID update from what we're doing on the job site is we are taking temperatures before any employees do start work that day. Temperature gun right there just to make sure that we're being safe, keeping our 6 feet distance. So far, no positive cases or anything that we need to speak of, but we are as a contractor making sure we're monitoring that and nothing's stopping production there. So that's all I have. Next time we're here, we could potentially bring a video. I know the time lapse was a question, time lapse video, and then we're also doing these constant contact updates. So if anyone would like to be on the updates, I'll reach out to Kyle. We'll get you on the distribution list, but it comes out every 2 weeks. Photos and just a quick bullet points as to kind of where we're at, where the team's at, and maybe highlighting a trade partner that's done kind of a good job or something along those lines. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Yeah, just one. You mentioned a date for the footing. What was that?
We're going to start the footing activities we'll start mobilizing the material on the 27th, which is the next Monday, and I believe the Wednesday is the 29th, I think, is when we will actually start excavating the first footing.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. And then one other item I didn't touch on is the interior bid package as far as finalizing our final number. The interior package, our flooring, our drywall, our paint, acoustical ceiling tiles, all that good stuff on the interior. We'll be getting those numbers in today at 2 o'clock. So we'll have that opening, and then we'll make sure everything's reconciled with Kyle and the final budget. But right now, my pre-construction team doesn't anticipate anything that should be alarming. So, question?
Thank you.
Thank you. Been doing a good job, and you have been getting some good bids in, so we appreciate that.
Good. No, and I'm sincere when I say, feel free to reach out. If there's something that's you're not happy with, please just give me a call and we'll address it. So, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay, website update.
All right, Mr. Mayor, Council, again, this was something that was on my to-do list is let's see how we can get a comprehensive update of our website. So Ms. Audrey Goyer is going to give you an update on that, give you a couple of visuals. It is still a work in progress, but she's been tasked to meet with all the department heads and make sure their stuff is updated, and then eventually train our folks so that we can keep our own information relevant and updated. So I just wanted her to give you a couple of highlights as to what she's been working on, in case you have any suggestions or comments or something you'd like to see. She can implement that in her work program. So I'll turn it over to Audrey.
Yeah, thank you. So for anyone who may not know, my name is Audrey Goyer. I'm the Marketing and Facility Rental Coordinator for the Parks and Recreation Department, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today. So while our facilities have remained closed, they've kind of touched on this, but it really has not slowed down our pace in the Parks and Recreation Department. We have been keeping up with wellness programs, athletics, summer camps, and then we've also been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So obviously Chad with obtaining that grant funding, and then I've been working a lot on this website. So while everything in our department is a team effort, I've been working hard with department heads, Kyle, Jason, on completing this and trying to get this going. But while it's a team effort, I'll just show you what I have done with this. When I was first given the task, I had no idea where to start because coming from the Parks and Rec department, I don't know a lot about what happens in police, fire, community development. So over the past couple months, I've been meeting with department heads, and they have been extremely helpful in breaking down their information so that I am able to restructure it and put it into kind of reorganize their pages, their specific pages. So to start, I'll show you a page that is still being worked on, just to kind of show you where we have come from. So if we go over here to the Town Government tab, you can see that it's pretty simple. I want there to be less clicks for people. I want them to be able to quickly find the information that they're looking for. So we're going to go over here to Community Development, and then I'm going to go down to the Economic Development page. So as you can see here, it just has a little bit about the town of Surf City, but just at a glance, it's very wordy. There's a lot of information. It's a little bit overwhelming. There's some dated information on here. So our goal is to update all of this information, make it a little bit more clear and concise. One page in particular that we worked on and I'm proud of is the police department page. I worked closely with Chief Shanahan in doing this, and as you can see here, the tabs over on the left-hand side, it's clear. Everybody understands, you know, what they're going to, when they click on something, what they're going to get from it. We tried to add some cool graphics on there, make it appealing. One page is the community services page. Something just fun that I've learned throughout this process is how many programs and services our town really offers. Just working in the Parks and Rec department, I was sheltered by that, but if you get on here, you can really see how involved each department is in our community. So there's some pictures here, and then community outreach. There's some programs here that they offer. Another page that we kind of revamped was our solid waste page. And here you go. I tried to make that simple for everyone. So here under yard debris, bulk item pickup, they can see the dates that we're offering those services. April 20 through 25th. I put that marked out so they know that the next one coming up is November. And then we added some cool graphics, trying to make trash interesting, right? So here we go. And then another page that I've been working closely with Kyle and Stephanie on is our, oops, here we are, mayor and council page. So here you guys can see, you know, click here for the mayor's message, and it takes you right to it. So there, and then we just put a little blurb about who our council is, town meetings, where they're located, and then we updated our the photos. We decided to go with black and white because it creates some uniformity. So the pictures can look a little bit more similar. Look at those beautiful smiling faces, right? And then the latest project has been updating our special projects page. So you can see here we have our beach nourishment project and our municipal complex page. I'll click on this one for you, give you a quick glance. So then this is just so the public can work, being transparent with them about what's going on, when we're expecting the building facility to be open, as well as here we have the latest update, and then for those interested, there's the plot of land. So yeah, it's been an exciting project, and I've really had an opportunity to learn a lot about our town and the different services and programs. I encourage everyone to check it out. It is surfcitync.gov if you're listening at home. But yeah, so is there any questions that I can answer for you?
So these updates that you've made already, they're live?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Thank you for your work.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
it's a work in progress.
Looking good.
We're
I'm
gonna
not
keep
sure-
chugging.
I'm not sure about the photos. Those three across the top look, I mean, made it look like everybody was gray-headed on the top right.
Great. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. All right. Next is our Ordinance Amendment.
You want me to say a few words, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Oh, no, we're on right-of-way obstructions first.
Yeah, right away. That's right. Right away. I didn't know who was.
Okay.
I kept looking for Amy. I don't know.
So I've put together just a very brief memo about right-of-way obstructions. Essentially, it's important for the town to maintain clear obstructions for motorists, as well as to allow town staff to make improvements or repairs to infrastructure. Town right-of-way should be free of obstructions. Enforcement of the current ordinance contains multiple layers of requirements and a final determination from council making findings and potential violations, then redirecting staff to enforce and work with property owners for compliance. This process can be cumbersome, and therefore staff is requesting council to review the current ordinance language as well as potential revision that allows staff to keep the enforcement of the ordinance at administrative level, either through the director of streets, the town's code enforcement officer, or other designee. So we had a case a couple of months ago in regards to an obstruction that was ultimately causing some larger issues, a stormwater issue. And that process required a full report to be developed, presented to council, you guys and girls making the findings, and then redirecting that action to staff to follow up with the enforcement. So what the proposal does is simplifies the process more so than changes any substance within the ordinance of what is an obstruction and things of that nature. So what you have in front of you mimics generally a zoning violation complaint, investigation, and follow-up. If we get a complaint, we can go out, do an investigation, log the case, and then start working with the property owner for voluntary compliance. That's code enforcement is generally, we want to try to get voluntary compliance before we have to go through procedures of writing nasty letters and setting forth demands. But we all understand that that is something that we eventually will have to do with some cases. So again, this ordinance kind of just addresses that, simplifying that process, making it more efficient for staff to administer. And generally that's really what the impetus of this is so that we can effectively enforce the ordinances that we have.
I think you've done a good job on it, streamlines it. I think that's something we need.
Yeah,
We've been well overdue on this.
well, ordinances always need updating.
Yeah.
And, you know, they do get old after a while. And like you say, anytime we can streamline something, make it a lot simpler to handle, and make it a lot easier on the town staff to handle it without the cumbersome of bringing it to the board every time, then I think that's a good thing. I think y'all did a good job on this, like Buddy said.
And one thing I did want to mention is that we do include the appellate committee so that there is a due process with any violations, and you know, that can, somebody's case can still be heard. So there is a mechanism for that built into the process.
I'd like to make a motion, we go ahead and approve this amendment.
I'll second that.
I just need a
Yeah, we
consensus, so
can't-
I can
we're
put
not
it on
voting on
consent
it.
agenda for the August
Council,
4th.
Yeah, that's to come on. We don't vote today, we just.
Yeah, as long as I have a consensus, then we'll put it on consent agenda for the August 4th meeting.
And process-wise, we feel like we got a little bit out of sync with how we do the work session and then council meeting. So I'm trying to get back the discussion items at work session so that we're good to go for consent at council.
Right.
So majority of these will be just for review, except for the vector, and we'll get to that when we get to that.
And it'll help on our council meetings because you have already had it given to you. And so it'll just go on a consent agenda when it comes to the board at the next meeting, so it won't take up so much time. So I believe that's good. And we continue right on down. Here's another one. We hadn't done anything with it since 1990, so.
That's right.
It was about time to look at it, and we'll ask Mr. Voorhees if he wants to present something on this.
And And I'll tee it up for Phil
In fact, I
here.
think this was before Voorhees and came, was the last time we worked on this one.
So we've got, we're asked to take a look at the ordinance section 17-66, which is in regards to skating on streets or sidewalks, riding on handlebars of motorcycle or bicycle. So essentially is that the town currently prohibits skating, roller skating, or skateboarding within any area of town that's public, in town right-of-ways, on sidewalks, etc. So it was asked that we kind of look at this. The chief and Phil were able to pull some information from some other jurisdictions and kind of talk to council as to what may be some options that we can do forward. So with
like Kyle said, the old ordinance is antiquated, and we definitely need to look at it. And I know Mr. Torres was spearheading this and wanted to take a look at it. We pulled up some ordinances from other towns, and we were looking at Boone's ordinance. And with a few minor changes, we are in complete support of changing that our ordinance to reflect what Boone has, keeping skateboards and skaters on roads that are 25 miles an hour and less, giving right of way to pedestrians and vehicles that have to give right of way. When I did talk to the chief, our biggest concern was putting something in the ordinance that specifically addressed the multi-use path on the bridge. Our concern is safety of the pedestrians and guests and residents up there that are walking. Skateboards and skates don't have brakes on them, whereas a bicycle would. And I think that the potential for an accident up there is much greater if we allow skateboards and skates up there than bicycles. So my suggestion would be that we put something specific in there to keep skateboards and skates off the multi-use path.
Has it been a problem with skateboarding?
On the multi-use path or in?
On the multi-use path, have we had any troubles up there?
We've seen some up there, but we haven't had any accidents or trouble yet.
And there are brakes on the skateboards.
Have you had any complaints from anyone on skateboard?
We've had a few complaints about skateboards and bicycles, and mostly going too fast.
So you can't have a bicycle up there either?
No, bicycles are allowed up there.
Yeah, but you said because of the brakes, you can brake on a skateboard. Skateboarders know how to stop.
Yeah.
The electronics, they're leaning more towards the skateboards, which are chargeable, electronic, and those certainly have brakes on them. I've ridden them myself. The one wheel that I've seen around town going up and over the bridge, it also has a braking mechanism. You just lean back and it comes to a complete stop. I haven't seen any problems with the skateboarders on the bridge from my experience.
I'm just curious why we're bringing up the skateboards.
I'll be happy to answer that too. So in 2016, there was a decision made to make skateboarding and surfing a professional sport as far as the Olympics is concerned. So 90 of the members of the Olympic Committee voted unanimously, 90 of 90, to allow skateboarding and surfing into the Olympics. And so they took the top 80 athletes and they narrowed it down to 20 slots, both male and female, with 2 disciplines, skateboard street and skateboard park. I'm happy that we're pursuing the skateboard park, and all we're missing is the ability for our youth to be able to skateboard street. There's no way they're going to be competitive or come remotely close to being on a team if they're not allowed the opportunity to skate on the street. How do you get that experience unless we allow it? I just think that it's an opportunity for Surf City to update an ordinance that is completely outdated. We used to think of skateboarders and maybe surfers differently in the 70s and 60s, 80s. But I think it's completely different culture and mindset today. So I would ask the council to consider it for those reasons.
I'm kind of we have the skateboard policy we put in back in the day, and we've kind of had a consensus and understanding with the police department. Unless there's you see a safety issue, that they don't do anything basically with it. So what are you asking? That's what I'm
I'm
questioning.
asking that they be allowed to skateboard in the street. And I think the Boone ordinance comes we discussed it last week with the chief of police, the town manager, the mayor, and it was a pretty good ordinance. It allows it for less than a certain mile per hour, and I think we agreed upon 25 miles per hour. And if it was over 25 miles per hour, then they had to be on either a sidewalk or a multi-use path for safety reasons. And I thought that was a good way to go about it, without restricting it altogether. Currently, we just say no skateboarding, period. And I see people, kids of all ages doing it.
Well, what it has been being before, it's been sort of left up to the police.
No, right now it says none.
I know.
Yeah,
So now.
But we haven't been enforcing
it's in there.
right. And the kids are doing it, and they're doing it safely.
And, so anyway, this is the same thing that the chief talked about doing the other day. He didn't bring up the multi-use path on the bridge, but if you feel like that is a safety consideration, then we need to look at that as well.
Yeah, we did feel it was a safety issue, but not so much on the uphill, but on the downhill.
Right.
How many streets do we have in town?
It's tough to skateboard up it anyway.
Yes.
But pretty easy to skateboard down it.
Yes, very easy.
But like you say, maybe without the brakes or any way to stop it, then that should be taken in as a
I don't
consideration.
want to see no skateboards on North King River. I'm sorry. I don't want to see them.
What's the speed limit there?
It's not, that's 35.
Yes, sir.
I've seen them out there before,
Yeah,
and I don't want them out there now.
Well, that's,
South Coastal or South Shore, that's no problem. And North Coastal here, that's no problem.
Yeah, so
As
we-
long as they're being safe with it.
Yeah, so we said if it's over
Yeah.
over
that's the
25,
same
it
thing,
would
that's
not
the
be
same thing
allowed.
as being with your car out there.
Yeah,
It's okay to be out there as long as.
Yeah.
How
you're
many
being
streets we
safe.
got in town that's below 25 miles an hour?
The side roads, you'd have to defer that to somebody that knows. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we would, if council decides to move forward with this, we can pull some statistics and information on it. Generally, at 25 or less is going to be in this core area here in the central business district, excluding the main arteries of South Shore, North New River, et cetera. So we can certainly pull some of that information. I didn't have that prepared.
But most of those
today.
developments, like where you live, it's
Oh, yeah.
less than 25,
Yeah.
right? So,
it's 25. The only thing is, on that bridge up there, I really don't want to see them on that bridge.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I just don't want.
Yeah, I can live with that, but if we're gonna do that, then enforce it. What I don't want is an ordinance that we're not enforcing and creating confusion. So if we're gonna say no bridge, then enforce it.
Well, yeah, I come back to the number of streets we got in town that's below 20 miles an hour.
Yeah. Well, most,
Even the canals, I don't believe, I think they're 25 miles an hour.
All right, do we have a consensus that we can allow them anywhere on, streets less than 35 mile an hour,
Yeah,
yes.
And,
I don't have a problem with that.
but not on the, multi-use path on the bridge?
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine with
Is
me.
that basically what we want? Is
Yes.
that fine, Voorhees? Is that what you're talking about?
Did you say it excluded the little downtown area, like
It does not.
the main
No, it didn't,
intersection here?
it didn't exclude, there was nothing that was excluded except for over 25 mile an hour speed limit
Yeah.
zone.
Yeah.
And what we'll do is we'll take our streets map and basically highlight, because that'll probably be a good enforcement tool for the police department, to show council exactly where
Well,
areas would be
yeah.
allowed.
I would rather see them on the street than on the sidewalk, because sidewalks are up and down and, you know, they're not always level, they're cracked. If someone gets hurt, I think they're more likely to get hurt on a sidewalk than on a street.
And then we'll table it, they bring the information.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they should, you know, if they're out skateboarding, we should have an ordinance proper equipment. That way it doesn't fall back on us.
And we can do that. I think that we just wanted to see if this was something that was palatable for council to move forward with, and depending on the council's pleasure, I mean, we can bring it back to next workshop to have all of the supporting information based on the direction provided today, and then move forward with it. Because like I said, I mean, I don't know if it was an immediate thing that we had to get in, but we'll move as quick as the council wants to do with this.
I'd like to get all the information before I make a decision. I'd like to get all the information, how many streets we're talking about, and
Okay.
how the ordinance is gonna read.
Okay, do you want that at the meeting in August, on August 4th, or the workshop? August.
I think if we can get information out to the board between now and the August meeting,
Okay,
then we can have it on the.
we'll be happy
August
to,
agenda.
we'll be happy to do that.
Also include your safety items like helmet,
Okay,
arm pads, stuff, knee pads. I really don't.
See, the biggest problem I've got, we're a vacation destination. We have a lot of people whose mode of transportation, because of this pandemic and other things, their mode of transportation is skateboard. And we have, I guess, in some situations, if it hasn't been a safety issue, the police has used their discretion to usually educate them at that situation or warn them about it. We seem to have been gotten along pretty good with what we've been doing. And I understand the fact that if we've got an ordinance, we need to enforce it, but we have a lot of people that use the skateboard. Anytime, any point of the day, you'll probably see, I've been out here 3 or 4 times looking. I counted as low as 7 and as high as 17. I've seen out using skateboards. And we don't have that many sidewalks that they can use skateboards on. And I don't know right now, I don't know exactly the number, but I don't think we have many streets that you can use. Hitting the speed limit through here, 25 miles an hour.
What I don't understand is, we have an ordinance that says don't do it, period. And you're saying that it's being done. I just want to acknowledge the fact that it's being done and bring the ordinance up to date. That's all.
Yeah, but when you start limiting certain things, then you're basically changing the ordinance, which I have no problem doing. But where are these people gonna go? What are they gonna do? What are they gonna, how many streets do we have that can actually skateboard on?
Where are they going now?
Well, they're skating on these streets out here, and they're skating on some of the sidewalks.
Right.
So if we change it, what we're changing it to is it's basically the same thing we've got now, none.
No, right now we say don't at all. What we're trying to say is yes, in these areas, 25 miles per
How
hour or
many areas
less.
do we have?
However many there are.
Doug, can I ask a
I tell
question?
you what, let's do, let's get some more information out on it, and then we'll bring it back to council at the August meeting, and we'll look at it then and try to make a decision. Then if we can't, then we'll postpone it to the next workshop.
All right.
we'll be happy.
August, what August meeting? Council meeting?
It's a,
The council meeting?
Yes,
Yeah, August
bring
4th.
it to the council meeting in August.
Okay.
I just have one question. I
Okay.
don't want to be, is there a problem?
That's what I was trying to
I'm
find
just
out.
asking, I don't, is there a current, no, that question was asked, I got a cup of coffee, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if it was addressed, I apologize. Is there a problem? Because,
Right now, there's.
No, but there's some people,
okay,
all right,
that's all I'm just asking.
I had a few adults come to me and say, and this is one skating especially up and down Roland Avenue
Right.
over there, and, you know, they want to be legal,
Got it,
but
okay,
right now, they are illegal doing that.
Exactly.
got it.
And, because even some adults now, I mean, used to you saw some of the young boys out here on skateboards and all, and now you see some adults out here, you see, I see a lot more girls on skateboards now than I used to see.
Mr. Mayor, you came to my coffee shop on a skateboard the other day.
Oh, I can't,
Yeah, you did.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, I did, yeah. You're funny, too. You don't see my knees skin up, do you?
No, for sure.
But anyway, I just think it's something that we need to look at.
Okay.
Give you all some regulation that you can follow. And, because right now it's hard for you to follow. because it says they can't do it. And so anyway, I think it's a good idea, but we'll just bring it up at the
Has
next.
there been a problem? I don't see any problem with them skateboarding on Rolling Avenue.
That's why I'm saying, we'll just bring it back
I want to see them
to,
continue that.
right.
The only
Okay.
problem that I've seen right out here, it was a big truck and they had hooked, a really long water hose up to the bumper.
Now we've got that.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah, they didn't bring anything back to us. We met the other day and talked about it, you know.
Yeah, the intent is just to make it legal, recognize that it's happening
Right.
and make it legal.
But I mean, there's
That's
a
it.
lot more to it than what was presented to you today, is what they're putting into it. And so we need to see the final report. And it also includes not being able to hang on to the bumper of a car, not being able to hang on to
That's a
something
safety
being pulled by a car. And then it says no riding on the handlebars, but you can if it's properly equipped. Cause I noticed
kid
bikes now
baskets.
that have seats on the handlebars for little babies and all. So if it's like that, then we'll be fine, but we'll just wait and see the final draft before when it comes back to us.
Roger.
Okay?
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Voorhees. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. The annexation request, Sharks Landing.
I'll defer this one over to the clerk's office if I can.
Let Steve Paget speak on it, but I'll start with an introduction. About 2 years ago, we had a request for an annexation for Mr. Harry Courts over off of Sharks Landing Road. During that annexation request, it was annexed with the meets and bounds that were given from the surveyor at that time. Due to some plat recordations and some subdivisions after our annexation, the meets and bounds did not match up correctly with what we had annexed. And there's a certain portion of land, one parcel, that is partly in Surf City and partly out of Surf City. So they have requested through the building inspector's office to be removed from that portion of that lot completely out of the Surf City.
Right, and we have to send a
So
notice back to
Yes, Senator Raven's office. In order to be de-annexed, you have to have special legislation. So Raven's office has asked that we pass a resolution of support before he moves forward with getting that legislation passed in General Assembly. Mr. Paget can provide further details.
Right, this would be added on this is just a draft, would be added on the August 4th meeting.
So I just need a consensus if you guys would like to move forward with it, to put it as a consent item for the August 4th meeting, and it'll be a resolution of support for the de-annexation
Of that half lot.
of that half lot.
I can't believe it, but Steve wants to speak, so Mr. Steve.
We'll let Mr. Paget speak.
Only if you got any questions on it.
That's basically that ditch.
We got it right here in the thing. It shows you a drawing of it. And then you do have a copy of the resolution in your packet.
Yeah.
It's a lot more work to de-annex something than it is to annex something, I can tell you that.
My consensus is go ahead and move forward.
Okay, well, let it come to the next meeting. Okay, thank you, Steve, sorry about that. All righty. Sewer only customers, okay, Mr. Kyle?
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Again, this request is for a potential new development already within the town of Surf City. However, outside of our water and sewer service district. So we have a national retailer, Tractor Supply Company, who has requested to locate within the town. For the sort of issues at hand is why they're requesting the town to be just a sewer-only customer. The county, who owns and controls that district, will not release them from the water service. So potentially, and I say potentially, is that there's still development things to be worked out, is that if council approved a sewer-only customer, according to our current ordinances, they would be serviced by the Pender County Utilities for water and then Surf City Utilities for sewer. So there is a provision within the current ordinance, section 18-62, subsection E, which reads, extensions of water only or sewer only will not normally be made to any undeveloped areas. Applicants will be responsible for the costs of engineering, permitting, construction, and inspection for all connections to the system, which is a normal process. The town council may grant exceptions to the prohibition against water only or sewer only extensions if it makes a finding that A, the extension is necessary to alleviate a severe or urgent public health condition, which does not apply here, or B, the extension implements a previously established strategic land use or economic development plan or objective of the town. So, doing a little research within our adopted comprehensive plan, there is a policy, 22F24A, that reads, the town of Surf City encourages commercial growth. It is the policy of the town to work with and to encourage commercial activity which is consistent with existing regulations and which will provide jobs and make retail type amenities available to Surf City residents and visitors and will provide for convenient shopping opportunities. It is the policy of the town to encourage clean and quiet commercial business type development consistent with a quote-unquote family-oriented beach community. So we asked that the applicant provide a narrative which was included in your package. And basically, if council finds that this commercial activity, one which we have verified provides jobs and makes retail type amenities available to Surf City residents and visitors, and will provide for convenient shopping opportunities, is suitable, a resolution stating such will be presented at council in August for your consideration. Furthermore, we have looked at the water usage. We've asked the applicant to provide that. It generally will produce less than 1,000 gallons per day, fitting in line with our current direction with providing sewer to non-residential customers. So again, we wanted to present this to council and be able to answer any questions that you may have. If consensus, again, we would prepare a resolution stating or utilizing the findings coming from the adopted land use plan to guide the decision that council would potentially make.
Is the county, with them having a sprinkler system, do we know if the county's capable of providing them the water pressure and the water volume that they need?
That's a good question.
Because
as I mentioned,
because I don't think they got the water pressure.
their engineers will have to figure that out if they want to develop the property. If they can't get the water portion and the necessary requirements that come with building a commercial and outdoor storage, then the project will not happen. So we talked about this a little bit in the technical review committee yesterday, and that issue was brought up, and I think Price is going to communicate back with their engineer that essentially they're going to have to figure out their own stuff.
And if they can't, then they'll have to go back to the county and get the county
To release it,
ask the county to release it.
Yes,
so they can come on our system.
That's
Because we
correct.
know our system
That's
can
correct.
provide the pressure to accommodate a sprinkler system.
That's correct.
I'm not sure the counties can.
Well, we'll let them figure that out.
Let them find out. But in the meantime, I have asked Kyle, and he is going to investigate it, and I know what we can. If we're going to be running into these situations to where we are going to have to just furnish sewer only, as you know, if we furnish sewer without furnishing water, then we lose money. Because the way the whole utility system works is you make money on the water, and that helps pay for the sewer. So David loses money every time we furnish sewer and not water. And we can't charge more for sewer. You know, we can't charge any person any more for it than we do another person. So in order for to charge more for sewer, if we're just furnishing sewer, we're gonna have to go back to the state and get a special legislation from the state to be able to do that. So we're checking into that as well.
And that would apply for properties currently within the town's jurisdiction.
Right.
There are some additional provisions that would allow sort of that situation to occur for a property if we served it outside of town limits, but that's probably not something we would recommend. But
No.
we'll look into it to see if there's options moving forward. And this will probably be part of the discussion that we have with the county next week about some of these
Right.
issues and intersects of water and sewer districts.
Because we really,
I just don't want to lose that particular customer as far as.
no, we won't lose we don't want to lose the customer. We don't want to lose any customer. But if we're going to just be furnishing sewer
Sewer.
only, we need to charge a
Right.
little more.
Right.
And we also we don't need to furnish water to somebody outside the city limits. I mean, sewer's outside the city limits anyway, because then you lose the tax from it
Right,
as well.
I understand.
So, we're working on it. But anyway, appreciate that, but we'll find out more later, right?
We will see. Again, I don't see a harm in us moving forward with it. Again, if the county if they can't work it out with the county, then they're back to square one anyway.
Right. Okay, now, I guess we'll turn it over to Miss Lydia for the next one.
Yeah, I will. I asked Lydia to be my backup on this, as you know, we'll try to work through some of these. And again, this is the necessaries of human resources, especially with a growing organization. Just making sure that we have policies in place that support some of the activities that we are doing. And we've got a little bit of a myriad of things to just kind of update and revise. And as part of HR's work program this year, Lydia will be looking over the entire personnel handbook. You know, it's something that this stays on my desk. It's really, I venture to say, it's really not too bad. You know, when I have a question, I can usually go to this and find some guidance. But just like the skateboard ordinance or any other ordinance, these things need to be updated once in a while. And we look forward to the more holistic approach. However, wanted to get these looked at and for council's consideration. So I'll jump right into it. The first one, and I apologize with the seven attachments, the Title VI non-discrimination policy statement did not make it into your package. However, I will report that this is pretty standard language that we're going to see. Generally, state and federal grants want to see a policy like this in our handbook, in our manual, and this will allow us to be able to point to that if and when we get that question. It has come up, and we had some general language in there, but we can really be due to add this in. And Title VI is basically non-discrimination on protected classes. So that's something that I feel like we should move forward with and make sure we're compliant with it. Is there any questions on Title VI? It also includes a complaint form in case there's somebody in the workplace that feels like there is discrimination occurring, and something that we can investigate and make sure we follow up upon. So that will go with it. All right, hearing none, I will move on. Next item is the Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA, exempt employees, quote unquote, extra time. So exempt employees or what you might call salaried employees as opposed to hourly, fall in a different category than a non-exempt employee. Non-exempt employees earn compensatory time or comp time, which is that time and a half for any hours that they work beyond a typical 40 within a work week. There's generally a cap on comp time. I don't want to see any employee have just a large bank of comp time because it's a liability to the town, in that if that employee decides to move on somewhere else, that's a direct cash payment that we have to make. So for employees that have more than 40 hours, we have set plans to get them down to reduce our exposure and liability, which we're doing. Because we have some employees that, and understandably, they're having to work more and do the job and get the job done. But when we go back to the exempt employee or salaried employee, there's sometimes, and majority of the time, we're probably putting in more than just your standard 40. So historically, those classified employees, which there are 14 in the town, and it's generally your department heads, your deputy chiefs at the fire department, your captain and lieutenant at the police department, make up your exempt employees. There's no policy in place right now as to when you work over that 40 or you're putting in extra time, where that's banked. Legally, we cannot award comp time to those exempt employees. So what this policy does is recognizes the above and beyond that has to be completed to get the job done on that salary. The theory behind it is you get paid enough to cover that, but also gives an additional incentive that somebody can use this extra time if, say, I've got to go to the dentist tomorrow morning and I worked an evening meeting tonight. I'm going to use this extra time as opposed to sick time.
So Kyle, question.
Yes, sir.
So currently, we do not have a policy?
We do not have
that covers comp time?
That covers quote unquote comp time for exempt employees.
Non-exempt employees, you do have a
Yes, we
policy.
do have a policy on that.
Are they
Yep.
a couple of questions on them. Do they take comp time before they take a regular vacation day?
Yes,
So that is
yes.
part of it.
Absolutely.
Is there a use it or lose it date?
No.
It rolls over?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep. So this, for the exempt, would cap it at 40, and by no means would there be any expectation that if something has to be done and you have 40 hours banked as an exempt employee that you're just not going to work. That is not what this says. You would still have to do your job to get it done. If I have a night meeting tonight and I have 40 hours in the bank, there's no way I'm going to say, well, sorry, I'm good, I'll pass on the meeting.
The comp time policy, other than the limiting them to 40, are the other ones limited at 40 as well?
No, that's typically a 240, but again, internally, I don't want to see anybody banking beyond 40 if we can't help it.
For the exempt employee. And then they're going to be required to take that time before they take a regular vacation day.
Absolutely. And before sick time. You always use your comp time
first.
Or in this case, the extra time would be used first.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Is that why we got the new, like clock at where everybody
Yes.
checks in to keep up with that time?
Yeah, so Kronos,
Have they got it installed now?
we begin on Monday. So it should be an interesting week, this upcoming week. There will be some hiccups. Finance office provided training on Wednesday of this week to go through that. But again, if you are earning the comp time as an exempt employee, you need to be talking to your supervisor, which generally is going to be me, as to what's going on and things of that nature. And again, nothing exceeding 40 for exempt employees. And there's no payout of this. So if we have exempt employee that moves on and goes somewhere else, they're not entitled to any sort of payment like they would a vacation hours that they've earned. And that's built into this policy. We can control this.
And that's legal, not paying.
Okay.
Okay. So we're really giving them something.
All right, well. Moving on, we are on the whistleblower policy. This is one of those internal control policies that we should have. So we want to make sure that we are providing any and all opportunities to employees to report anything that might be going on, creating a harassment-free work environment. This is one of those policies that we'd like to see in our manual. Even without a policy, people are still have protections to come and go and talk to their supervisor. There's an expectation that things remain confidential, to talk to HR, you know, and we're sort of governed by those types of discussions, but this really
This sort of makes it clear.
memorializes it. Yep.
That employees realize they can.
Absolutely.
All right.
The next one, unfortunately, this has come up here recently, which has really provoked us for looking at a policy to help guide us in making decisions, as we might get a background check report to come back to us, and we say, well, you know, should we or should we not move forward with the hiring of somebody based on what comes up in their background check. Some things that may have been dismissed, or some things that have come into play 20 years ago have been resolved, and things of that nature. So department heads and HR can use this as sort of guidance in regards to questionable things that might show up on somebody's background check. You know, because right now the policy essentially all it states is that we perform a background check. It doesn't say anything about, you know, if there's you know, a conviction of whatever degree that might be, you know, should we or should we not move forward in the hiring process. It just says we perform a background check.
Right.
So we slide that into the HR file, and of course we look at it and make decisions upon what we see there. But we've had some questionable things come up, and really wanted the guidance on this one through the hiring process. So.
Just making it clear.
Yes, try to. I mean, there's going to be questions that come up, as always, with everything. So the next one is inclement weather policy. It was at inclement weather. We have now directly seen that there's other stuff that's going to come up that's going to require us to close offices, unfortunately. So I think through Teresa and the Council of Governments and some of the information that she was able to pass along from her meeting, we implemented the emergency closing portion of this, so that if the town has to shut down for, I don't know, a pandemic maybe, we have this. We have this now in our manual, and we can move forward with it. We also took the liberty to go ahead and include an update to the website, as well as some other language in regards to the town manager. I don't want to miss anything on this, Lydia, or I know James helped with this one too. Is there anything I'm missing on it? This one was pretty straightforward as well. And then we added into the pay and timekeeping on the back how that should be built in for town offices being closed, how that looks. So. All right. Moving right along into the employee benefits insurance program. This one's pretty straightforward. Our current policy was forcing, if you are under a Medicaid program or Medicare program, that we forced you to go under that program and didn't provide an option. That's illegal. We can't force you to do anything with your health insurance. So this essentially just provides that updated language for it.
You skipped or telecommunication.
I have that on the next one. I haven't skipped it. Maybe in
the order you skipped.
Process. Okay.
Yeah, you skipped. That's all.
Well, that was it for the insurance that I had. Lydia, did you have anything to add on insurance? Okay. The telecommuting policies and procedures. Again, we didn't have anything in our personnel manual to cover this. And again, directly going through what we had went through when we shut offices down totally, we were able to put telecommuting agreements together that had parameters, and we did require employees and department heads to sign those so that we have a leg to stand on, and certain expectations if somebody is working from home. I caveat this policy to say that this is not presented in a manner that provides just this option for an employee to say, hey, I think it'd be cool for me to work from home next week. Supervisor, town manager, HR, you're obligated to approve this. By no means is the direction in which we present this in that fashion. If somebody can be at work and doesn't have an extraordinary situation going on, they're expected to be at work. We serve the public and want to be here to help them. Albeit, another kudos to Jason over there. There was really a minimal beat that we skipped, being from home, being able to answer the calls, the phone calls, the voicemails, the emails. We wouldn't have been available to meet with people one-on-one anyway. So as a trial run, I thought from a management perspective, we did pretty good. Yeah, I think you can never replace being in the office from a productivity standpoint, just being there to answer the phone or even just to collaborate with your colleagues. It's very helpful to be in the office. So we took a stab at putting this policy together to allow for agreements to be executed between HR, a department head, and the town manager based on circumstances that may arise in the future. So we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that council has on this, but it's a pretty thorough policy that was prepared for it.
I guess is that all of that?
That's all of it. I think there's some hesitancy with telecommuting. I mean, I have hesitancy with it, but I think that the layers of authorization and timeframes in which we can dictate will help mitigate some of those concerns. And this policy allows for the direct revocation of this agreement if we find that something is going awry. If somebody is working from home and their department head calls or texts them, unless they're indisposed in the restroom or something, there's expectation they're available still within that working time frame. So again, I don't anticipate us using this very often, but it will be a tool that we have in our handbook to rely upon and provide us guidance.
It just lays out the guidelines, but still it brings it back to you for the ultimate decision, which is
Yes,
what
sir.
it needs to be.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But once again, coronavirus helped us jump into this a little more, I think.
Yeah. And again, just, I don't know if council was aware, but everybody that did work from home, even checking out a computer to take from home, had an agreement in place that was signed by that employee and the department head, and myself, to make sure that they were, at least the things were there in place. But it's tough to manage a work from home, but I think in today's day and age and the technology that we do have, I mean, we've got, for example, our Microsoft Teams, which I can essentially know if somebody is at their workstation because it's green, they're available, unless it's linked to their calendar and they're an appointment. I can instant message or even video somebody immediately if I needed to, or what's going on. So that's another pretty cool tool that we have as a town to be able to facilitate folks working in remote locations. So. Excuse me? Yes. Yes. Well, we still have some part-time, part-time that have not been brought back, just because our athletic events aren't happening. But other than that, everybody's working.
Okay. Budget amendment. I understand we have a budget amendment, is that right, Ms. Axton?
Yes, this is just follow-up from our conversation last time about our Hurricane Florence debris removal. It was the invoice from Pender County, so that they can file, receive this money back, they will file through FEMA, get that money for themselves, and then give us our portion back. So this is just a budget ordinance amendment to appropriate these funds so that we can pay that invoice to them and they can get the vendor paid.
Right, okay.
And this is one that we are requesting council to consider today,
Right.
so that we can get this process moving.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept this today?
I make the motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. You can send Bert all the money. All right, let's see. Vector control.
Okay.
Those little critters that buzz around our heads, right?
Yes, and boy, they've been pretty healthy here recently. So this was something that had come up, and I started kind of asking some questions about how we do this. It's a very nominal expenditure that we do as the town in a program that we currently manage. So we can't just go out and spray for mosquitoes without government oversight. So we hold a license, certifications. We have a vehicle that's dedicated to vector control, as well as specialized equipment that is tailored for the operation that we do. We currently employ an individual on a part-time basis. I believe he retired from the town several years ago, and that desire may be phasing out. So an option that we have, and this is certainly an option for the town to consider, is to just contract this responsibility over to the county in a managed system. I'm not saying that what the town was doing is wrong by any means, but we are not looking at a whole lot of the background, the science of it, what's working, what's not working. We buy the chemical and we spray, and that's just what we do. We do it every Wednesday or Thursday night, and we're done with it. So I started looking around, and we met. I invited Ben and Vince from the health department to come and talk to us about some of the equipment that they have, some of the services that they could potentially offer. And they've got the manpower, they've got the vehicles, they've got the equipment to do all of this. They go and they actually do testing, and they put out traps and see where there's a heightened level of it. Ultimately, all going into this integrated pest management program that they implement. If the town were to consider this, I pulled out some of the sort of responsibilities as to what the county would be held to, is that they would provide vector control services and oversight within the boundaries of the town, including but not limited to surveillance and treatment or control of vectors through such services as placement of larvicide and mosquito spray application. That's one thing that, they'll go out and put larvicide in standing water, so those mosquitoes never have the chance to breed and grow and potentially transmit the disease. Provide guidance and educational information for individuals and groups regarding mosquito prevention upon request. Maintain the proper equipment, supplies, pesticides, NCDA Category B public health applicator license in order to provide such services. Make available health department staff to address questions and concerns from town residents in coordination with the town. Provide the liability coverage as required. Provide a monthly report as to what they're doing. Participate in collaborative meetings to discuss program operations and activities. Conduct weekly spraying within the town as weather permits. In addition, staff will respond to special event requests and nuisance complaints. So if you get a call from somebody that says we just need some mosquito services, we still maintain that and we'll put that request in. And then spraying, scheduling, they won't spray on holidays or weekends. And then deliver services described in the MOU in accordance with the governing state and or federal laws and regulations. In return, the town would provide an annual fee of $5,000. That's what we currently budget for our vector program, payable to the health department. Provide community education information regarding preventative actions residents can take. So these are things like putting some information on our website, or just general areas we can post on social media, and look to the county to help us with. And then just generally work with the county in any sort of collaborative efforts that we might have. When I asked the health director to provide a financial breakdown of what are we getting, because I was certain that you would want to see what this would compose of. As you can see, the Delta Guard, which I think is the sort of the big stuff, that's at $1,900, and then the Aqua Reslin is at $3,100. So just the chemical that they'll be utilizing will exceed that $5,000. That doesn't even include the trucks and the manpower that the county is providing. So I felt that was a pretty good deal. And ultimately, my vision of this is that we would still not relegate the licensing and equipment that we have just in case something happens. I still think we should maintain that, but the ultimate responsibility and obligation to do this, we can then defer that to the county. And again, we can abandon this if we feel like we're not getting the services. So again, it's just an administrative task that we can take off of our plate and defer to the health department, where they actually look at some of the science behind it. So
Couple questions, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
So the total cost to the county for a year would be $5,000
For the town, yes, sir.
to the county?
Yes, to the county.
And we
would be-
get the services all included, labor, chemical for $5,000?
That's correct.
What did we spend on it last year?
We spent about $3,000 on it.
However, last year we had chemical left from the year before, is the reason why that we came in under budget. We didn't have any foul-ups for the truck or for the equipment, so we ran pretty smoothly last year.
And our budget was 5?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So those overages just get rolled back into the general fund.
what's the permitting, licensing, and all of that costs us per year? Because you're saying to keep that all going.
So it's I believe it's a $150 fee per year that has to go to the state. Then we have 2 technicians that are licensed. They alternate in the years that they have to have courses. I believe this year no one has to have courses. We plan on keeping at least 1 technician licensed.
You know the cost of that?
Last year, the course was free that Casey went to. It was offered free because we switched chemical companies. So he was able to gain the hours he needed last year at no cost to the town. Usually it's a minimal fee, $150, and it's usually 3 to 4 hours in Jacksonville.
And that was using an existing full-time employee.
Yeah.
So adding duties.
I would agree to keep our.
Yes.
What the law says to us as a town is if Casey goes, say if a mosquito technician goes to spray for the town, we spray at night. So we lose a staff member during the day. So we're 1 man down every time we have to spray. So every Friday per se, or Thursday, we're down 1 employee from May to September because they've had to spray for mosquitoes at night.
Right, so if we decided to do this, let's say, it would be effective when? Immediately? We talk to the Pender County?
If we want to, if the council will consider this morning, then it will be effective immediately.
What are we doing with the employees that would normally do that?
We've been contracting it out to an employee that used to work with us because we can't afford to lose an employee every Thursday or
No,
Friday.
what I'm saying is, once the county takes it over, what is the plan for the employees that normally do this?
Oh, they would just, the contract employee that does it right now, we would just let go of that contract.
Okay, that's what my question is.
And, you know, the individual within the town, we would just make it a responsibility of that job, not the individual. So we'll say the C&D supervisor, you know, that person would be responsible for maintaining a license. It would be part of the job description.
But they're not going to be spraying?
No, they won't be spraying.
What will they be doing?
Oh, they're doing their normal daily job is, like, for example, if that's Mr. Jones, he is supervising the collection and distribution
So
system.
this wasn't like a full-time thing for him?
No. It was going out once a week at night to go spray. So if that's 4 hours, then that's 4 hours they're not going to be working the next day or whatever it might be. Or comp time at time and a half.
Yeah.
That would be provided.
If the county does the same job, which I foresee they will over here, that they do in our development, they do an excellent job in our development.
So this is Pender, but how about the Onslow side? What are we doing about
Yeah,
that?
they would, this MOU would cover everything within town limits.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
So in order to move forward with this contract, if council feels that this is the direction that they want to go, I would need a motion today to approve the contract so that we can move forward with Pender County.
I make a motion, we approve the contract.
I second it.
What you said,
Dwight second.
I did second.
Dwight second.
Yeah. The only thing is,
Motion
if
in a second.
I did have a second
Okay.
to move forward with it. Yeah, I just have a question though before we wrap it up. If we did it for a year and it looked like it was working out pretty good, would we then consider getting rid of the equipment and stuff, or why would we hold on to it?
Well,
Beyond the year.
Yeah, I think it just becomes a what if type thing, but the whole thing is that what I'd like to do now is we have a truck dedicated to mosquito spraying, and I'll work with Price on this, but that becomes another asset that we can deploy somewhere else. For example, we've got another truck that we just had to do transmission work on, and it's not looking too good. So that provides us a little bit of flexibility, and if we can dismount the sprayer.
Yeah, we can just take the sprayer out of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and maintain that sprayer, make sure it's in good working order. It's just a good insurance policy
Okay.
for us. Yeah.
That's all, thank you.
Yep. We'll get somebody to skateboard and with the spogger. And make that happen.
Okay. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Yes. Okay. Do we have anything else to come before the council? Kyle, Stephanie?
No,
Anybody
sir,
got
Mr.
anything?
Mayor. The only thing I was gonna say is, following up on the announcement from yesterday,
Right.
we look forward to that. I did want to carve out a couple hours later this evening. I brought my boots with me. If anybody wants to go walk that property, that's what I would like to do. So meet me at
Okay. What
the
time?
community center at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock? Okay. That's to walk the new property, 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Yep.
Wait a minute, have we sprayed yet?
I brought off.
You brought off, okay.
I brought pants and a long sleeve shirt.
You did.
And a hat. So.
All right, 3 o'clock this afternoon, anybody wants to walk the new property, yeah. And since he brought it up, I would like to mention it. It is on our town website and Facebook and everything. But I'm very excited about that. We have now got 3 times the amount of property at the community center that we did. We've got a lot of new territory for the skate park, the new ball fields, building a new disc golf course over there. I mean, it's just going to be fantastic. It'll give us about almost 90 acres, right?
60. Oh, total?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Good deal there.
that's going to be
Yes.
a big place and a lot for our lot of area for our citizens. I think it'll take care of us for a long time down the road. Doesn't mean that we're going to stop looking for more areas, but it's a big advantage, and it was at what I think was a very economical cost to the town, and then we're looking at getting the money back from a grant that we've applied for to pay for it anyway. So very good job for all the town staff. Appreciate all y'all's work on it. I know Chad worked on it hard too. He's not here, but
He's back there.
oh, he is back there. Sorry about that. He always hides for some reason or another. Yeah. But anyway, we appreciate everybody's work on that.
I think it's about time that we get ourselves a Parks Foundation put together, and that way all the folks who need to make charitable contributions for tax purposes have a place to put some of that money, and we can use that for grant matching, and so that'll probably be our next step, huh, Chad?
Yeah, well, I know George at Onshore Surf Shop, he opened a fund at the Coastal Bank that they're putting money in for the, of course, they're looking at it going for the skate park.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it would be wonderful if we could open up like I say, a park grant that people can donate to.
Absolutely.
Let me just throw this out, again. I know Chad had spoke up about what's been going on. He's worked very diligently, very hard at trying to secure matching funds and not only that, but free grants. And he's done a masterful job of that, and he's continuing to look. But the Parks and Recreation Committee has worked hard. They've had meetings over the last 2 years. They have a plan in place, and one of the major, I think it's one of the top, or if not the top, suggestion from our residents was to get more land. And through that, and from the mayor's office down to the council and to Chad, was to look at getting that land, and he has certainly done that. And this is going to be, I can't tell you, as the mayor's mentioned, what it's going to mean to the town to have all this extra land that we can now plan, follow the master plan that Chad, through the UNCW professor, developed for us, 3 years ago, is that right? We have been following that, and the group we have on the Parks and Recreation has been doing a great job. One of the things that's probably going to kick in that I hope it doesn't is everybody's going to look at it and say we got all this land now, but we can do this, this, and this. All this, and this comes at a cost. Our Parks and Recreation Committee, as well as Chad from the Parks they're looking at what the citizens put down and ranked as the projects they're going to, and then financial figures into it. We're gonna be doing a lot of things that will not cost the town a lot of money to start off with, but we have put ourselves in a position, as the mayor mentioned, to do great things down the road and have all the land we need. And I appreciate all the hard work that the staff and Chad and Parks and Rec has put in.
And I also had several people come up to me this week complimenting the Parks and Rec Department on the camp and how it was being run. And even one made the comment that there was some other towns and state departments that need to look at this because it was very well run. The kids felt safe and the parents felt safe in the kids being in the camp, and they were very complimentary towards the camps that's going on right now. And some of these people, their kids have been in it 2 or 3 times, and they love it.
I agree with that. I had grandchildren in it, and of course they had to limit a lot of it, so to the number of kids that we could service with it, but they've done a great job and still covered a lot of children with it.
Yeah.
And gave the parents a little bit of a break this summer.
Well, I think us getting Holly Ridge involved helped us too.
Well, I mean, yeah, they've serviced a lot of kids in Holly Ridge.
Yeah.
They sure have.
That needed that.
Right. So
That weren't getting it.
All the crew did real well. But when we're talking about this property too, now you've got to, I talk about community all the time. And the reason we're able to do a lot of the things that we are is because of the people a lot of it is because of people that grew up in this community. The property that we just got came from Earl Batt's family, and one of the original Battses, and no, Teresa was not involved in that directly. She got accused of it, but she didn't get any of the little money that we paid for it. But it was part of her family too. But that Batts family, and then of course the Sullivan family that gave the property for the community, for the town hall and all. But it's just the donations from the community. And like you say, I think if we set up a fund that people can give to, that a lot of the community will be, willing to keep donating to the town for the benefit of the children and the citizens in Surf City. So, like I say, I appreciate what they have done.
I do too.
Yeah. Okay, do we have anything else? All right.
Make
I
a
make a
motion to
motion,
adjourn.
we adjourn.
And I know I got a second, right? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.